so we'll give everybody a chance to hop on board. The literally dozens of people who will be awake here. We are just started streaming on Facebook, and as of right now, we have no viewers. As of right now on YouTube, we have no viewers. But I suspect that'll change here in the next couple of minutes. 6. All right, here we go. We're up to double digits now on Facebook. So we're going to bring you a quick weather update here. So again, we're letting folks kind of join in. We are continuing to watch that line of storms as it is progressing eastward. We do have a tornado watch that is up for the entire area. Notice that the northern flank here they've basically, well, right now there are no warnings associated with it. There was a tornado warning briefly, well, not briefly, it was up for about a half hour, coming out of areas south of Louisville. They were going with a confirmed tornado, but it was radar indicated. So I've got to check with John Gordon on that, what the ruling is on that. I thought, because that just leads to more false alarms. And yeah, a lot of times radar will show something, but it's not necessarily reaching the surface, which is what I think you save the confirmed for, when an actual human sees something. And then you confirm that, yeah, there's really something there, as opposed to just a radar indication. That said, tornado watch up until 6 in the morning. It's area wide. So we're watching the squall line that'll be coming through. At this point, we'll just highlight the severe thunderstorm warnings. Washington County, Marion County, Taylor County until 12:45. Adair County, and that's Adair County, and well, Cumberland County. That'll be until 11:45 Central Time for those folks. So those are the current severe thunderstorm warning. There are no tornado warnings up. Tornado watch is in effect until 6 a.m. Fayette County and the rest of Kentucky, or our part of Kentucky at least. So there is the watch. Here are the storms. So they've continued progressing eastward. They're now about halfway in between I-75 and I-65 here at 10 after 12. And they're getting a little bit of an uptick here with the cell that is sitting west of Frankfort. You see it right in there. We've got, you see these individual cells sitting out here? So what's happening is the line is coming up and ingesting these. And so when that happens, you can put a little bit of a shear into this. Now we're in our Doppler mode on the max track. What that means is we can't show long distance. We're limited by the system. So we're limited to about 80 miles, so you can't get the extreme parts of the area, but we can get a look at these ones coming through central Kentucky here. So this is going to be just south of I-64. We're seeing that uptick in the lightning display. So really quick, since we've got velocity mode available, well, we do have velocity mode available here on the max. There it is. So there is a little commingling of the red and the green. Certainly there's going to be some strong straight line winds going on. And especially as this gets ingested, there could be a little bit of shear going on with it. Also got that cell moving up into Owen County at this point. So this is right on the edge of Franklin County where it's going to pick up. You notice that there's not a real sharp defined line from where it's really showing up as intense compared to where you've got some rain out in front. So that also would lend some credence to the fact that maybe you're not getting the strongest winds coming down toward the surface at this point. But these individual cells that you see here, this is what can get ingested in as the line catches up to it, and we could run into some issues that way. There is lightning obviously associated with this, but not a whole lot at this point. You look down into the severe storm, same idea. Where you're looking down here, and for us, are we seeing, there's kind of a little red-green couplet there around Springfield. Nothing dramatic, nothing that jumps out and says, by gosh, this is this is a tornadic storm by any stretch at this point. Let's see if the Louisville radar, if it has anything else going for it. Straight line there might be a little something again just to the northwest of Springfield, and again that's where you're getting that cell ingested in. The one sitting out in front here is getting absorbed into the line, so there could be a little shear. And this is a situation, so when you're looking at our whole picture here, So this way with the Louisville radar, since they are closer and they have a different, they're an S band, we're a C band. That's just the rules. What you're seeing with this, you see, you've got your whole line coming through here. It's been more active on the southern flank than the northern flank. But let's see how. Let me take the lightning off here for you. So you can watch again how stuff's getting ingested into the line. The other thing to take note of here, again, you've got your whole southern flank where it's fairly active, but you see how you've also got a lot more here, a more sharply defined boundary where you're going from intense to nothing. Well, that indicates that you do probably have strong winds that are reaching the surface. For the storms themselves, we're sitting from the line. It is, let me get that to highlight. It doesn't want to highlight. So we're not going to be able to measure it for you. There we are. It's about 30 miles from Lexington. These things are moving at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. So, it's less than an hour. New severe thunderstorm warning just came out. That's going to be Owen County as well as Grant County. So yeah, Owen, Grant till 1 a.m. and then points in northern Kentucky as well. So we've got the little gap right in here. Don't be surprised if this doesn't fill in here shortly. Right now, nothing is tornadic, although we have the tornado watch that is in place. And again, we're watching this area down here in Washington County specifically. If you're headed to bed, take your app with you. Storm Tracker app is the best one. We would certainly recommend taking that with you. But whatever you have that can alert you in the middle of the night should your county come under a warning. Now, as you look out into eastern Kentucky, I mean, you can tell we're hours away from anything going on, which is also why the tornado watch goes until 6 a.m. What it looks like is happening here too is that you've got an MC, at least an MCS going here. So the southern flank here, you see how it's flattening out? This will start going almost due south. This part of the line may begin to slow down a little bit as we're seeing all this heavier rain developing a cold pool behind. We'll see if that's going to begin to take place here over the next little bit. And it's at that curve here again where the strongest of the storms have been so far. So again, it's one of those situations. The potential had been great, and it certainly was in western Kentucky earlier. So yeah, that's got a lot of curiosity here. See, it's there's at least a little curve. Everything has been flat on these displays, something looking like that. So again, it's been not a lot of shear going on with a lot of these storms so far. So let's go back to the max track. So this is the live look. And again, you got the cell out ahead there in Lawrenceburg. I know they're waiting at the airport. They got one more flight coming in at 12:45 over at the Bluegrass Airport for a flight from D.C. that had to detour via South Carolina to avoid other storms. So they're going to try and hustle that plane in before these storms arrive, and they should be able to get in. That should be more than a half hour out. But again, let's see the lapsing on this one. Again, watch. We pull that back. So again, you see how they're separate, and then you're beginning to see that merger between Lawrenceburg and Frankfort. And in the velocity, yeah, there's some intermingling, but nothing dramatic showing up that would again scream that this is anything more than, at this point, a garden variety thunderstorm. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out. And again, if you're asking questions, I can't see them until after the fact. So, and I apologize for that. So the bottom line is you got storms that are still probably a good 45 minutes out from Lexington. This little bit may try and sneak in beforehand, but the main line is about 45 minutes out from Lexington. When you're talking down from Somerset to London, okay, you're still a couple of hours, it looks like, from those coming in. So what we can do is look at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh. And so we'll take it back to midnight on this, and I'll just go ahead and scroll through. So there's 12:15. How's it doing on timing? Okay, so it's a little, it's not far off. It maybe is running a little slow here. So move things eastward by maybe 20 miles. So it's bringing the heaviest stuff into Lexington around 1:30. 1:30 is a pretty good time on that. And then by the time you're talking southern Kentucky, there's London at 3, Somerset about 2:30. Again, Corbin, they're going to be doing a damage survey tomorrow from the storms from this afternoon. Far southeast corner of Kentucky, now you're talking about 4. Excuse me. With rain continuing back to the west as we get you into Memorial Day Monday. So there, again, is your overall setup. Let's see if there's any. The fine folks at the Weather Service haven't said much of anything, have they? Emily?
No.
No.
No, we haven't.
Meteorologist Emily McKinney also here with us this evening. So, yeah, we're just, hopefully we may have caught a break with the storms, if you can say catching a break earlier today, may have stabilized things just enough. You got a little bit of an impulse now going there along the Kentucky River there, the Woodford Anderson County line. So that is developing out ahead. So I wonder if we're getting a little bit of an outflow going there. I mean, I'm trying to look at these and trying to see if there's any rear jets trying to feed into this. Should try and speed up. I'm not even seeing much of that at this point. So you've got your severe storm warning in north, you've got your severe storm warnings across the south, and kind of in the middle here, not much, although just put a skid out. So it's a computer generated algorithm. So again, that's where the cell merger is taking place. So you see you've got that here, that there. So it's going where the cell merger is. So a little bit of an enhancement there. But you're seeing some of the communities over the next few minutes that may be impacted by that cell as it heads toward Franklin. It's in western Franklin County now, Franklin Scott County, with that as it heads off to the northeast. So again, that's where the cell merger is occurring. Again, we've been watching this because it's cell mergers. Ironically, we're coming out, well, today, since it's now past midnight, this is the 20th anniversary of the Masterson Station tornado, and that occurred with a cell merger that happened in Fayette County. By the way, that was also the last tornado to happen in Fayette County. So interesting with that. Velocity, again, there's just... What's interesting with this is the sharp demarcation right there. So you've got winds going that way, approaching the radar at the squall line, and then you've got winds departing. So again, a fairly sharp line on that. So it's interesting to see. There's probably if it were daytime, you'd be seeing a shelf cloud, perhaps with that. But again, there's just nothing here that, aside from the fact that you got the skid showing up, and you've got a cell merger in progress basically over Frankfort. Versailles now just to the southwest of US 60 there, from Versailles to Woodford County, up into Franklin County. So again, you've got some heavier rain going through some of the horse farms out there. And I've got a friend over at the airport, so making sure they're okay because they're waiting for that last plane to come in. And so right now they're still a few miles away. So from Versailles there, so to the airport, it's about 10 miles. As we look to the south, now we can pick up another skit coming out there. The skits, all they do is, again, they're running the computer algorithms. And so you got another cell merger going on right in there as well. So that... we were talking about that one earlier, so that's something to keep an eye on there. Eastern part of Washington County, in terms of velocity. Again, you've got some mixing, so there could be a little bit of shear going on there, but again, nothing is huge. If we switch over to the Louisville radar real quick on their storm relatives, okay, we're getting a little. You're starting to see kind of in here. There's at least some bending going on. And so, okay, let's take a little more notice of what's going on with this. We're seeing the increase in the shear. So again, eastern Washington County, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning until 12:45, and remember, a tornado watch is up as well, so you need to be on guard for any quick spin-ups. And that's, with this kind of line, what you're going to see is a quick spin-up. The time for a long track tornado is not going to happen now, but you can get a damaging wind gust, you can get a quick spin-up. The question also is this going to be surface-based? You know, do we have a little stable area at the surface that's keeping this aloft? So that again is why you need some ground truth occasionally. For that cell over by Lebanon, you can see not much on the BTI. That's a severe thunderstorm warning there for Marion County till 12:45. So you can see Mackville's in there, gravel switch 12:43. So again, that's starting to head into a Boyle County with some of that. Also, southwestern corner there of Mercer County. So again, there's no warnings for the storms around Frankfort. There is a warning for the storm there around Springfield. And again, there is at least a minor degree of concern at this point that you could be getting some shear beginning to set up with that. Two possible. Okay, there may have been some touchdowns back in Butler County. That's in well to our west. Okay. Yeah, we're watching that storm that is between Springfield and Harrodsburg. Again, right now it's just severe warned. It's a cell merger, so there's a little bit of shear going on with it. That'll be right around Mackville. Actually, how are we seeing it? Mackville battled Deep Creek. Yeah, right around Mackville, I think is where that cell merger is happening. Again, it's part of a severe thunderstorm warning, so you certainly have all the attributes going on with it. There's a little bit of shear with the tornado watch. You've got to watch that, but right now, no warnings for it. So just know that we are monitoring that. Let's see. I haven't even checked our stats, how many people are still actually watching. We still have 1,100 people watching. So kudos to y'all. This is, as long as we can do the streaming kind of play-by-play here. We just bumped up to 31 people on YouTube, but it's 1,100, almost 1,145 on Facebook at this point. So to you, 1,145 people, thank you, and hope your night is going well. Let me look at the again the reflectivity. So yeah, you folks in Mercer and Boyle County, you've got storms that are beginning to impinge. Let me text my friend there real quick over at the airport. And main storm line still at 127. I know this is exciting streaming here, watching somebody do a text. Okay, I've done my due part with them, so we're okay. So we're going to watch this area still. Harrodsburg, west of Harrodsburg, west of Danville. There are no warnings up for this at this point. And again, may or may not be surface based. When we talk about being surface based, you get set up an inversion. There'll be a cap somewhere, which is a layer. So the last plane's coming in the next 10 minutes. That's going to be a race between it and that cell in Woodford County. So yeah, I would imagine the plane is coming in this way. Yeah, to try and avoid all that mess out there. With that, when we're talking about the cap or the inversion, so you can have all the spinning going on up here, and if this inversion is in place, it can't really penetrate through, and so that keeps the strongest winds above the surface. If it becomes surface based, now you're able to touch down to the ground, and you can get strong straight line winds with that. You can get rotation with that. But again, sometimes many times we see these inversion, these caps in place, and it limits the wind damage potential. Yeah, you got the cell just about over the airport. So there's the airport right there. So yeah, they're trying to bring this guy in the next couple of minutes. And I'm sure how are we doing with lightning with that? There's no lightning in that cell. That part's good. Yeah, but I imagine for those folks coming in, that's going to be a little tiny bit bumpy. Again, you're seeing a little increase in the lightning in northern Woodford County. Well, there's a little bit there around Harrodsburg. But again, that little cell merger is when it's the only game in town, it's the thing you're looking at really carefully. But there is it's broad, but there is rotation. So that's going there. This is from the Weather Service radar in Louisville. So again, you're seeing the broad rotation there, south of Battle, north of Dixville. That's going to be headed toward Harrodsburg here shortly, and again, that's at the cell merger point. So we're keeping an eye on that. And that's all we can do at this point, is keep an eye on stuff. Severe thunderstorm warning still continues for Washington County until 12:45, Marion 12:45, Taylor until 12:45 as well. But I'm not seeing anything coming over on the Weather Service chat. We're still maintaining a solid 1,100 people watching this. You folks are dedicated. So again, nothing is strong with these at this point. That's the key. There may be, again, there is some spinning going on in those clouds, but again, it may not be particularly strong, and it may not be reaching the surface. Folks in Midway, you've got a good lightning and thunder going at this point. That little bit of rain has snuck into the southwest corner of Fayette County. But with this, and this is called a quasi-linear convective system, the QLCS, right there. It's where you can get those damaging wind gusts. Straight line winds are your primary threat. We used to call them squall lines. Primary is a damaging wind, but again, you can get breaks in the line, and when you see those happen, I'm looking for if there's any kind of rear jet feeding into this, and I don't see anything really standing out here. Maybe right in there into Washington County, that same place we've been kind of highlighting here. And what I'm looking at was this right in there. So how fast is that? That's a 73 mile per hour gust being picked up 3,000 feet up. Yeah, so again, people who are landing in the plane, yeah, it's a bumpy one for them. So that's a little bit of a rear inflow jet probably impinging on this. When you look at it again with you see that break right in here? So that's probably what's going on right in there. And that's going to be feeding in with the cell merger. So again, Mercer County, we're just kind of keeping an eye on things for you. There are no warnings for you right now. Again, but have this handy, so if one does come, you are alerted and aware of what's going on. So this is likely all right now it is sub-severe, but the lightning is also beginning to tick up there in Mercer County. So we'll just kind of watch that here for you. Anderson County, you've got the rain ongoing, strong storm. Right now, garden variety storm between Lawrenceburg and Frankfort, around Alton. Back to Millville. Eastern part there of Franklin County. Again, you've got a possible cell merger there between Midway and Frankfort. That's going to be Forks of Elkhorn area, where we're going to see that. Is there anything with it? With the max, these are all just different utilities. We have different tools in the toolbox to look at things in different ways. So again, that's getting set to move into the western part there of Scott County, coming out of eastern Franklin. It's crossing the Kentucky River there, Woodford County. So you folks there, Millville, yeah, they're going there along the distilleries that are tucked in there. Be aware that you've got a pretty strong storm if you're down in that way around Milner. Harrodsburg, again, the line is kind of ragged. It's also kind of outrunning the warning. So there may have been a degree of acceleration here, and that may also be with that impinging on the jet. Real quick, this is just my own curiosity. So you see that lessening of stuff there by Lawrenceburg. Not really. I was looking to see if there was a little jet impinging on it, but there really isn't. But there's nothing going on in Slatton. There's nothing going on.
No.
I almost feel like that's the line from Airplane. It's quiet. It's too quiet. They're flooding the field with lights. That's exactly what they expect us to do. All right, so we have a special statement of strong storm. That was at 12:30, so that just came out. Special weather statement from the Weather Service. Lincoln, Mercer, Woodford, Garrett, Jesmond, Boyle, Madison, and South Central Fayette. Just about that line of storms that we've been talking about. Wind gusts, they're showing wind gusts to 50, which is sub-severe. 57 miles per hour is severe criteria. So, again, this could be a humdinger of a storm at your house, but it may be just below severe criteria. But one thing of note here, remember how we were talking earlier, how there was not a sharply defined line? Well, looky there. There is a sharply defined line. And it's beginning to bulge out, so there may be some stronger winds there going along US 62 in the western part there of Woodford County by the Railroad Museum, coming in on Versailles. So for you folks there in Versailles, if you haven't gotten it yet, you may have a pretty good wind about to come through that might be in that 40 to 50 mile per hour range. So that is just something to be aware of. Again, you're seeing how nature doesn't like angles. And so again, this is the area that we are continuing to watch. But again, it's likely sub-severe. Although there is an uptick in the wind. That has tightened up. Again, it may not be much, but just west of Harrodsburg, that has definitely tightened up a little bit. South of Bohan. So for you folks, Bohan, Mayo, Harrodsburg, eventually toward Ebenezer, McAfee. Be aware that you've got a storm that's at least got shear to it, whether or not it's surface based. But there is a definite uptick. You've got about it's a 60 mile per hour gate to gate shear. That's not quite gate to gate, but there's about a 60 mile per hour's rotation, but it's spread over a couple of miles aloft. That's sitting at 3,700 feet. So again, it may not be reaching the surface, but again, there is definitely a degree of rotation going on with this. Again, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, in fact, that there's at least a mesocyclone, a meso-low sitting within that parent storm. So you're seeing at least some degree of rotation. This is going to be near 127 now. We're on the max track, so this is live. And it's that area right north of Harrodsburg where we're seeing just that little bit of an uptick. Right there, it's probably not far from the drive-in, not far from the water tower there on 127. So it's getting ready to cross that at this point. So this is an area that we are at least keeping an eye on. Regardless, there's a tornado watch in place for this area. Strong storm, again, just about to get into Versailles. You're seeing it's going to be raining hard, and again, there's that really sharply defined line. So again, some strong winds are about to come into Versailles if they haven't already gotten there. We look down to the south. So again, Harrodsburg, that storm at least has got our attention here. Other than the fact that there's nothing else to do there. Hey, we're up over 1,200 people.
Take a look at the storm relative velocity from Louisville.
That's what I've been looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. So yeah, I mean that's why I said we're getting an uptick just north of Harrodsburg, around Bohan, south, or right around. It may be a little south of McAfee. That's why I said it's probably not far from the drive-in, and not far from the water tower there north of Harrodsburg. So again, that's that cell merger point, and with that cell merger, you can get some shear going on. The shearing from the Barron system has weakened some from the Barron algorithms. Barron is our radar provider. In fact, they are the primary radar provider for a lot of different TV stations and other entities around the world. So you've got some shear. What's the rest of that cell look like? So up by Perryville, yeah, there's again a little bit of an inflow, but that's weak. Definitely the stronger one at this point is the one north of Harrodsburg. Again, not warned for at this point. It's just got our attention. But again, you're seeing brighter green show up now around Bonneville. So with this line, and again, it's the QLCS, the squall line. If you get a little jet stream impinging going on, that's where you can get some quick spin up. Again, these are not going to be long track supercell tornadoes. If something like that happens, it's a quick spin up, it's in, out, and done. You still can have strong straight line winds as well. Yeah, as it's getting now into the bluegrass, it's got a lot more interest to it. And it's also kind of migrating within the line here, but you see that? So what are we talking here? It's again broad, and not as much inbound, so still about 60 miles per hour of shear within that cell. So interesting. And that's all it is right now, is interesting. But again, there's at least, and you've still got that stuff north of Harrodsburg. So we're watching that, but again, it's not warned for at this point. I'm just double checking. It's not warned for at this point, is it?
No.
Okay. Of course, it would show up on the map if it were warned for. So with that, just to remind you as well, real quick, that we do have the tornado watch. They pulled the counties basically west of 127 now. Tornado watch until 6 a.m. for central eastern Kentucky. You see the warnings that are overlaid on that. So the tornado watch means conditions are favorable. That means you hopefully have thought of your severe weather plan. If you're laying, sitting there with your laptop or your tablet or your phone and you're watching this in bed, and all of a sudden warning pops up for your county. You need to get to your safe spot. So right now, you're watching right now. Think of where your safe spot is. Know where it is, so that if something does happen here, you can go quickly. If nothing else, when it's 12:30 and 12:40 at night, we can stream.
Right, it's true.
Yeah. So we got that going for us, which is nice. So again, the future track, and so we'll bring it up to, this is again the HRR. So that's actually not far from reality. So there's 12:45. This updates every hour. 1 o'clock. 1:30, 1:15, 1:30. The storm's coming through Lexington. 1:30. They're at Somerset now. 2 o'clock, basically London. 2 o'clock, for along the I-64 corridor. 1:30 Winchester. 1:30, you're looking there at Paris. Same in Cynthiana. 1:45. Again, this is model data, so take it for what it's worth. 1:45, you're in Carlisle. 1:45, you're also in Richmond. You're just about in Mount Vernon. You can see some uptick. So 2 o'clock, you're in Owingsville, you're in Flemingsburg, you're in Mount Sterling, you're approaching Irvine, you're in McKee. There's 2:15, and it's London and McKee. Getting to Moorhead at that point, also getting through Monticello, Williamsburg, and Barberville. You're going to be more around 3 o'clock. By that point, you're also in Jackson, and then just it's heavy rain that follows for the balance of the night. So there, again, is the modeling for this. And there's your severe thunderstorm warning. Are you mic'd?
Yes.
You take it. So we've been talking about it. We've been talking about that cell. And so you have a severe thunderstorm warning now. Mercer. And let me know when you're ready to go, and I'll hit the button for you. See, we're an army of 2 in here right now, but we have the power. We have control of the button. We control the TV station. Severe thunderstorm warning: Mercer, Boyle, Garrett, Jessamine, that's southern Jessamine, and then western Madison until 1:30.
And then we also have the one for Russell.
Oh, and Russell has been added. Russell until 12:30 Central Time. So there's your new severe thunderstorm warning. And with it, are they doing tour possible? Yes, they are. Tour possible. All right.
I'm gonna turn on this.
You may have to. It may be off of this box. Sorry about that, folks. But it may. I'm not sure if it's going to come off of 2 or 1. So
I think it does.
I will
try.
I will direct you one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay. You ready? All right.
Yes.
Stand by on the stream. All righty. 3, 2.
Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist McKinney. We have breaking news to get
Okay,
right now.
I gotta be quiet here.
Of course, we've been talking about this line sweeping through, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect right now for a portion of central Kentucky. Of course, this is going to include the Madison County area, just a portion there of Jefferson County, maybe far southern Fayette County, and this is going to go until 1:30 a.m. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in place. We also have this squall line basically stretching all the way up from the north, moving down here again, the Woodford County area now moving into far western portion of Fayette County, moving all the way down through Danville and into southern Kentucky. The line right now is moving through our far western counties and pushing out towards, say, the Russell County area as well. So we have a second severe thunderstorm warning for our neck of the woods. That's going to go until 1:30 a.m. That is for Russell County, and that's going to extend on down toward Clinton County as well. Let's just kind of zoom in here really quickly just to show you kind of, again, this one that's going to be over in central Kentucky. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, again, for a portion of Madison County, the northern part of Garrett County, and Jessamine County until 1:30 a.m. You've got the squall line that's moving through. There's quite a bit of heavy rain, some strong winds. Winds are up around maybe, say, 45, 50 miles per hour. Possibility even of a tornado, a brief spin-up tornado. So we've been talking about being in the tornado watch that's in effect until 6 a.m. So a possible brief spin-up tornado, of course, could be the case. So we got some strong winds, obviously associated with this, very heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. So we're watching as at least a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings taking effect now and moving into our neck of the woods. Quite a bit of lightning, very heavy rain on the southern portion of this line. The northern portion, of course, taking over up around maybe just north of Lexington, pressing into Scott County right now. Very heavy rain, but that is not warned. Again, we're watching this line right here that's moving into just around the Nicholasville area, in between Nicholasville and Danville. Let me zoom in a little bit more.
We'll be right back. Emily's on the air.
And this is going to include the Harrisburg area, just south of the Nicholasville area. they've gone ahead and issued the severe thunderstorm warning and calling it potentially possible. Again, they have the possibility of at least a brief spin up tornado. Right now, Fayette County is in the clear as far as nothing is severe right now, no severe thunderstorm warning, but we are watching as some very heavy rain starts to move into a portion of western Fayette County. That's going to extend on up towards, say, the Scott County area as well. So again, keeping an eye on all of this. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see and move on down toward southern Kentucky. The line kind of extends, presses into Casey County area, just east of Campbellsville, and again, your
Emily's on the air, so we gotta be quiet.
That's also in effect until 1:30 a.m. So at least another 45 minutes to go on this, as it is 12:50 a.m. So again, Russell County, that's in our neck of the woods. You are included in that second severe thunderstorm warning until 1 a.m. Remember, very strong wind gusts in these cells. You have torrential rain, possibility of brief spin-up tornadoes could be the case. So do stay very weather aware. And of course, if we continue to see this line progressing over to the east, then extend some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, or we see more added, we will of course let you know. But again, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, one for central Kentucky, which includes Madison, Garrett, and Jessamine County until 1:30 a.m. and then your second one in southern Kentucky, which does include Russell County in our area, also until 1:30 a.m. Stay here on LEX 18. Bill is also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube right now, so you can check in on that and make sure that you are up to date and have the safe space. Of course, now go ahead and plan ahead and have that in your mind. That way, should some more, okay, now we have another severe thunderstorm warning. So we're starting to get into more of these that are becoming a little bit more kind of grouping the counties together, because they're anticipating the line moving very quickly over to the east, and now they're extending them. So now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This one is for Pulaski County, Wayne County,
The new warning.
Prairie County,
Emily's on the air, so we still have to be quiet.
County and Morrow County, and that one is going to go until 1:45 a.m. Let me get rid of some of this, clean it up a little bit. Let's zoom out. Again, you still have the one that I just mentioned until 1:30 a.m. That's going to be for central Kentucky. But this strong line right here, a lot of heavy rain, strong winds, a possibility, brief spin up tornado, also a possibility. They're not going with tornado warnings, but they are calling these severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possible. Again, we're not talking about long track tornadoes at this time of night, but the possibility of some rotation in these storms and a brief spin up tornado again is there. So multiple counties included in this particular severe thunderstorm warning. That will go into 1:45 a.m. and includes everything around Somerset and south. Also pushes over into the Laurel County area as well. So again, two severe thunderstorm warnings in place. The one that's for central Kentucky, just south of Lexington, which includes Madison County, Garrett County, and a portion of Jessamine County. And then you have the one down to the south. So we'll hop over here for now. Stay weather aware. Again, Bill's still streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and so you can check that out. And should we have any more severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, we will of course break in and let you know.
All right, Emily's done. All right. So we are continuing to watch the cells as they're coming into. Well, we've been watching the cell here going through Madison, or coming toward Madison, but out of Mercer County, through Jessamine. Now it's in the western Fayette. So for you folks, and there's been quite a bit of lightning. The plane, by the way, if you were here earlier, the plane just landed a few minutes ago. So they did get it down on the ground. How many folks are left? We still have 1,200 and almost 100 on YouTube. So for you folks who are watching here, if the thunder just awakened you in Lexington, you are looking at the heavy rain now just crossed New Circle on the west side. You are looking at that now up to about Leestown Road, but it's moving east. There is still a little bit of a cell merger around Brannan, where this line has begun to, part of the line here has begun to accelerate out here, so there's probably a little bit of a rear inflow jet, but it's swallowing up that cell in front of it. So we're going to be watching that area around Fayette Mall. You can see the flashing going on there. So there's a lightning strike that just took place right where that merger is ongoing as well. So again, your new severe thunderstorm warnings. We were highlighting that cell that was in Mercer County, and so that's the one that's now been warned for. So it's the southern part of Jessamine County, Nicholasville southward, Madison County is in on that, as well as Garrett County, northern part of Boyle, and the eastern part of Mercer. For that severe thunderstorm warning. What's coming into Lexington's a doozy, but likely at this point is sub-severe. But again, heavy rain is basically on top of the radar. So what you can see some of the lightning strikes, more of them right there, right at about over the Walmart there. The Kentucky Mesonet site is where that lightning strike just happened. You can see that flashing yellow down here at the bottom. So again, our velocities aren't over the top on this, and this is, I mean, literally we're right off the ground. But this is 20 years ago. This is what we were using to pick up that tornado that hit Masterson Station 20 years ago today, since it is now the 27th. Hard to believe the Max Track's been around that long too. So there is, again, the little uptick in lightning there between Man-O-War and the Jessamine County line. You got some lightning out by the airport. Not seeing a whole lot of other shear. Let's go pull the storm relative. So with the storm relative, what you've got is you've got the motion that's normally with the air. So straight velocity, that's what the radar sees. I mean, that's if you're taking just the raw data. What's interesting here is, okay, since you're seeing only going one direction, but what you see, this is going really fast. This is going really slow. And so what that is telling you is, because again, all radar sees is stuff perpendicular to the beam. So that's all it can pick up. So you've got the air here, northwest of, let's be around Keene. And this is 5,200, so this is a mile up. So that's moving very fast away from the radar site, which is south of Louisville. This is moving very slowly away from the radar. So what does that tell you? That's some degree of shear going on right in there. That's behind the main line. So if there's something little spinning up, maybe on the storm relative. So now with the storm relative, what you do is the computer does the math, and it takes the storm motion into account and runs it through the equations, and that's how you are able to see how motion's moving relative to the storm path. So that's that particular. Oh my goodness. So as we're talking about that particular cell, this obviously really jumps out. You folks that are in Garrett County, north of or right around Lancaster, Marksbury. So this is going to be coming up on 27 there, right by where 34 peels off to head to Danville. So this is just past Dick's Dam, just past Lake Harrington, around Marksbury, right in there. So that is a strong rotation being indicated aloft. It's 5,300 feet up, and with it, again, not seeing that. How are we doing on the shear rate? And a strong shear is showing up there as well. So as we're looking there around Marksbury, I want you folks to, if you're laying there in bed, take 10 minutes if you are in and around Lancaster and just north of Lancaster to go ahead and think about going to where your safe spot is, just to be safe at this point, because again, that shows up vividly near Marksbury, that there's at least a degree of rotation going on there. It's like suiting up. And on the next pass, it weakened a little bit as it crossed US 27. But again, that's in these situations. You got also something down around Stanford at this point too. As the line's coming in, these again are not going to be long track tornadoes. They are going to be quick spin ups if they occur. So again, that's right now there are no tornado warnings. I want to emphasize no tornado warnings. Sometimes you just want to be a little proactive. So you've got the strong storm that is now coming in there on Lancaster. It's not quite to Stanford yet. So again, we'll go over to the max track and give you the absolute live look. We're getting really heavy rain now on our radome. So we're getting a little bit of what's called attenuation. It's a factor. S-band radars, which is what the National Weather Service NEXRADs are, shoot right through it. No worries. We're a C-band radar. You get some attenuation when it's right there. There are new radars out called X-band, and they just fall apart whenever there's any rain anywhere around. So that's kind of the hierarchy of radars. But with that said, strong storm there around Nicholasville. Let's go ahead and got the strong storm there around Nicholasville. It's raining hard in Lexington up to Georgetown. So US 25 that whole way from Georgetown to Lexington. I mean, you've got folks, if they're driving there, they're driving slow. You've got the downpour there going along I-75 northern split right through downtown Lexington going out Richmond Road, Tates Creek. Folks in Jessamine County, it is a downpour. There's also a break in the line right there, which is also always a little concerning when you see an individual cell like that, where you're seeing this kind of break show up. So again, on the that was again we were showing you some of that on the storm relatives, that there is at least some broad shear going on with that, and it's still showing up there in Garrett County and also around Stanford. So again, it's the shear product, northern Jessamine County and southern Fayette County. So that's going to be out there along Harrodsburg Road by Southland Christian. And that's going to be eventually heading over toward Waveland, Wyndham Hills, Wyndham Downs there along Clay's Mill. Be aware that that storm is in your area as well. Heavy rain right now, north side of Lexington down through downtown, continues then into southern Fayette County. The warning has been trimmed. The severe thunderstorm warning has been trimmed. Okay, oh, I hate Slack. I despise Slack. And they have moved the Weather Service chat to Slack.
What are you looking for?
The updated warning. The Jessamine County, they trimmed it. They trimmed Mercer County off.
Yeah, so Boyle, Gary,
Yeah.
Jessamine, Madison, they're continuing it.
Yeah. Now up to 60 mile per hour gusts. I'm sorry?
Till 1:30.
Okay. Yeah, so Jessamine, and that's southern Jessamine until 1:30. Madison, that'll be western Madison until 1:30. Northern Garrett until 1:30. So that again is a severe thunderstorm warning for you folks to the south. We're going to wait for that to get to you. Russell County till 12:30 Central Time. You have a severe thunderstorm warning. Then it's Pulaski until 1:45. Well, I'll be surprised if those storms are in Laurel and Whitley at 1:45. McCreary until 1:45. Wayne until 1:45 for that severe thunderstorm warning. So there's the rest of the line. The storm's still west of Jamestown. So again, in the big picture, here's you see how the orientation is. You've got this part of the line basically north-south. It gets there to Russell County and then it flattens out. So this part should eventually begin to start going this way a little more swiftly. This part may begin to slow down as we watch this whole thing continue to evolve. So again, Jessamine County, it is pouring right now down toward Bryantsville, Harrington Lake. Again, you've got the heavy rain going. That continues up to Scott and Harrison County. Again, strong storm northern Harrison County, not severe. Very little lightning with that. It's going to be up around Barry. So that is the situation. We've been talking about the tornado watch that's in place. Back on the. Yeah, again, you can see the attenuation that we're getting. We can pick the stuff up close by here, but again, it just the water on the radome actually absorbs some of the energy, and so we aren't. That's what attenuation is. We are not able to see things off at a distance. So that's, again, since we have other tools in our toolbox, we can bring you to that, which is Louisville. And again, there's a broad rotation over basically downtown Lexington, but it's broad. You don't have the red and the green pixels touching, and so there is a separation. So what does that tell you is that there is a broad circulation. There's a mesolow sitting there, and that's 6,200 feet up. So there is some rotation within that cell. So what's it on the straight line velocities? Same idea. So here's what you that little bit of a rear inflow jet. You can see the brighter colors here, less bright here, which may refer to Emily being the brighter colors, less bright over here.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're seeing again with our Doppler. A strong storm still in northern Garrett County. How are the storm relatives still showing up? Okay, so it's not as dramatic as it was when it caught our eye, but again, you've got some strong storms over Lancaster, which is technically just out of the warning. Leading edge there south of Gilbert. Again, there may be something, a spin aloft, but likely not reaching the surface. Keep in mind, since we're looking at the Louisville radar, the further out it's getting, which is back here toward Shepherdsville, the higher up in the atmosphere it is. So when we come back to our max track, which again, we've got the attenuation that we're dealing with, we're not seeing the storms out that far very well. But what we're seeing with it is, again, the heavy rain in and around, trying to get the velocity for Lexington to show up, and it's not out of our max. So we'll go back to that. The shear, again, is an algorithm product. So again, it's showing the shear. So what the same thing we were talking about. This just instead of me talking about it and showing you, on a velocity display, this crunches it down for you and makes it easier to find. So there's some decent shear right around East Hickman, as we're looking there now to the east of Brannan. So again, that's part of the area that's been seeing some real heavy rain coming through. So that's part of that cell. Behind it, you can see there's a broad area of rain. Guess who didn't bring their umbrella in with them? So I may be here till Baines here then. You've got your umbrella though, don't you?
No, just the weather one right here.
Okay. How are we doing on numbers? Hey, we're up to 1,600 on a Facebook. Almost 1,700 and 230 on. Yeah. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Normally Bill's asleep. All right. But again, we've done our on-air cut-in. And so this gives us an opportunity just to continue bringing information to you. The severe thunderstorm warning continues for Clinton and Russell County. Same idea, 60 mile per hour gust is a possibility for a storm near Salina, moving east at 50. So again, Tor possible, could have the hail with it. We now have the strong storm will impact, special weather statement. So Fayette, Harrison, Clark, Bourbon, Nicholas for that storm that we've been showing you up here. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning is southern Jessamine till 1:30, western Madison till 1:30, and northern Garrett until 1:30. You have the storm that's in Russell County now until 12:30 Central Time. That is a severe thunderstorm warning for a storm that is. Worst of this is still west of 127. At least the heaviest of the rain. The rotation with this is, the shear is showing up basically over Lake Cumberland at this point. That's a velocity. That's storm relative versus it's just base velocity. I was looking on the shear, so showing a strong shear again over basically Lake Cumberland, southeast of Jamestown, between Jamestown and Monticello. For Monticello, Wayne County, it's a 145 for your severe thunderstorm warning. Pulaski 145, McCreary 145, Western Laurel 145, Western Whitley until 145. And again, I doubt the storms will be at those points by 145, but because the storms are still backed by, worst of it's backed by Jamestown. You've not seen anything cross on socials or anything?
No.
So yeah, we're here with you as we're rolling through the night. So again, we're getting a good view north on up towards Cincinnati. So we'll see as these storms begin to emerge more eastward. Here's Jessamine again. Heavy rain in Lexington right now. Hasn't gotten over to the east side yet. You folks in Hamburg haven't gotten into the rain or heavy wind yet. Greenbrier hasn't gotten there. Avon hasn't gotten there. North side up around Russell Cave just now arriving. Bryan Station area not quite there yet, or maybe just now getting there. But heavy rain around Georgetown up to the Toyota plant. That continues all the way up into western Harrison County. The severe thunderstorm warning. Let's bring the Louisville radar back on. So again, the worst of this is now crossing the Kentucky River out of Jessamine into Madison County. There's straight base velocity. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. We've got some strong winds showing up near the southern split. So again, that's that broad rotation that we were looking at earlier that is now just migrated into eastern Fayette County. No warning associated with it. Jessamine 130, Madison 130, Garrett 130 with that severe thunderstorm warning. Russell until 12:30 central. The rain's just now getting into western Pulaski, 145. Wayne, we're waiting for it to cross Lake Cumberland to get to you. You folks that are around Crab Orchard or south of Crab Orchard, southern Lincoln County. So that's Ottenheim. Going to be some strong winds. They're probably just passing 27. They're going through Kings Mountain. So still rain. It's just rain now. Western northern Fayette County. Rain gets heavier back toward Frankfort. I mean, it's just going to be a steady rain through most of the night tonight. There is also a flood watch for central Kentucky until tomorrow morning. Greatest threat, though, is going to be the Cumberland and Green River basins, where we've seen upwards of 4, pushing 5 inches of rain in places over the course of the last couple of days. New special statement just came out for Garrett, Madison, and Lincoln counties. So storm moving at 45 from near Richmond on that, the cell that we're looking at right there. So it's from Richmond down here through Stanford. So that is your strong storm, certainly. With the storm that had the warning issued for it, trying to see if there's any reason that, I think that's weakened. It's also getting higher up, so maybe not be picking up on as much. We'll have to wait for the max track sweep to come back around to pick that up. But again, heavy rain in Lexington with that cell that's coming through. I got a bing. Okay. So there is, we lost the radar display. There we go. So we're seeing again the heavy rain there around Jessamine County, heavy rain in Lexington, heavy rain Scott County, Harrison County, strong winds. We could see 50 to 60 mile per hour gust in the, just out of curiosity, what's the meson I picked up? There's also a little bit of a heat burst It's 73 right now in eastern Madison County, 70 in Clark County, ahead of this line. Ahead of the line in Pulaski County, it's 71. Immediately behind where the rain starts, temperature drops 10 degrees, and you get 20 miles east of that little heat burst. So I'm wondering if we're getting a little bit of compressional heating. As the line's coming in, I'm wondering if we're compressing just a little bit and bringing a little compressional heating.
Interesting.
Don't know, because you got that little narrow line where it's in the 70s.
In Monticello?
Well, it's 75 in Monticello, 71 in near Northern Elementary School in Pulaski County. It's 73 near Waco. It's 70 at Winchester. It's 70 in Carlisle, but it's 63 in Lexington. It's 63 in Lincoln County. It's 64 in McKee. Inquiring minds. So again, we're watching those cells. I was checking wind. So peak gusts. These are since midnight. We're seeing. What's my current gusts? Kentucky Mesonet, by the way, fantastic utility. We're seeing a 30-mile-an-hour gust out of Waco, out of Madison County. That's the only one of note. With the line, 35-mile-per-hour gust out in Russell County. It doesn't mean there's not heavier winds out there, but that's just what's being picked up at the moment. So again, the storm that we're looking at, you've got severe thunderstorm for Madison, Garrett, and Jessamine until 1:30. Just give you a radar to look at. Russell County until 12:30 Central. Wayne County, you got the cell that's coming out of Clinton County. That's coming into Wayne County here in the next little bit. And so that line again probably has some strong winds with it. You notice that's also where the line change. So again, you've got some shear that's available going on with that. Your cold pool is trying to drive that southward. So that storm is coming out of Clinton County. You can see those communities there in Wayne County that may be impacted here over the next little bit between now and 1:24. So that's the next 8 minutes. So we're hitting a whole lot of communities there. Monticello would be one of those as well, just in case you're keeping score. Right at Monticello. BTI's crept up a little bit into the mid-4 range. So again, worth keeping an eye on. I can do this. Let's pull from, that's from Nashville. So we might be getting a little better look at the stuff now getting into the western part there of Wayne County. Again, maybe a little bit of broad rotation, but nothing significant. But a lot of lightning. What's the base? Yeah, nothing showing up on the base. The other thing I can do is site, severe products, shear rate. Well, that didn't do me any. It's because I got to clear that stuff off. Okay, so it's not really showing much of anything there. So, okay. Meanwhile, back at our radar. Alright, let's see if Jackson's pointing at the storm. But again, it's going to be high up. So again, western part of Wayne County, the storms are now beginning to come in on you. So the storm that's coming toward Monticello, 132. Again, the BTI has crept up a little bit. The tornado index has crept up. Leading edge of this now is at Eubank. It's actually raining hard at Eubank. Leading edge is more like Science Hill coming in on Somerset. For Pulaski County, you've got a severe warning until 145. Wayne County 145, McCreary 145, Whitley and Laurel also 145. Lincoln County no warning. Jessamine County, you guys can stand down. From Lancaster north, you can stand down, but Garrett County, the eastern part of Garrett County, still in. Western part of Madison, still in. There's more heavy rain following in. Let's bring Louisville back. And they just trimmed more of the warning. I say it here, it comes out there.
I know, just thinking that.
So now we're down to just Madison County until 1:30 for that particular severe thunderstorm warning. Raining hard, eastern Fayette County now up to Paris, to Cynthiana. You folks there in Carlisle, Mount Olivet, you've got the hard rain coming in too. We may see another cell merger coming out of Clark. So we'll keep an eye on that real quick. Nothing of note. So yeah, nothing of note going on with that. So let's keep an occasional eye on it. Alrighty. You folks in Wayne County probably have the strongest storm in the bunch coming at you at this point. So you've down there around Monticello, Lake Cumberland area, up into Pulaski County. That's where we're watching at this point. We're up to almost 300 people on YouTube, and we've dwindled back to 1,300 on Facebook. I think it was the excitement as the storm was coming into Lexington. We got a little bit of an uptick in the lightning up here in the northeastern corner of Fayette County, up there along Paris Pike. So again, there may be a little bit of a cell merger going on there, but again, at this point, sub-severe. The cell in Madison County, it may have some decent straight line winds with it at this point, and some locally heavy rain. Picked up a 40-mile-per-hour gust at Clark County. So it's this cell right in here where we just now got a 40-mile-per-hour gust near Winchester. So from that Kentucky mesonet site, yeah, I wonder if that's a little heat burst, compressional heat. I don't know. I wonder how we would even study that at this point.
Trim back more of the tornado watch again.
Okay, so let's take a look at the tornado watch. You want to take over?
Go ahead. I'm enjoying listening to you.
Okay.
And commentary.
So there's the tornado watch. So now it's been pulled almost from 127 is kind of the boundary. Out there in Casey County, the tornado watch still holds. In Russell County, it still holds as well. But now it's essentially the US 27 I-75 corridors on to the east for the tornado watch. So there again is your overall setup for the tornado watch for Lexington, and again this will be dropped in the not too distant future. 6 a.m. It's not going to make 6 a.m. just in case you're wondering. Now parts of eastern Kentucky maybe gets closer to that, but for central Kentucky it won't make it that far. Let's see what the HER has. So let's advance it to 1 o'clock. Actually, oh my gosh, it's almost 1:30. So it started at 1:30. So yeah, it's close. So showing the representation again, not a bad representation. Maybe a little slow around Lake Cumberland. There's 2 o'clock. So it's eastern Fleming County, Bath County, Montgomery, Jackson, Estill, still part of Madison, Lincoln, to Pulaski. 2:30, Moorhead, Cave Run, down to about Campton to Beattyville, down to London, and then keep in mind this down south it's slow, so times will be a little quicker. There's 3 o'clock, and again starting to push out through eastern Kentucky, and then just rain lingering behind. So big picture. So again, there's your squall line. New warning just came out in Tennessee. They did the same thing, way out ahead of the line. Back edge all this is Louisville. Pretty good lightning now around Lexington. That extends back into Mercer, Boyle County. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning for another couple of minutes in Madison. Again, we weren't seeing anything particularly untoward with that. We look down into Pulaski. So with it, nothing really showing up on the shear. Storm relatives. You've got a strong wind showing up east of Science Hill, just north of 80. So that's on that little gust front. It looks like that's come out. So there's some kind of little shelf there, but we'll watch this area around Science Hill. You see some of the communities there. We're tracking that sinking valley, 135. There's community Van Hook. There are a couple of teachers of the last name Van Hook in Pulaski County, so I wonder if connected. Woodstock 129, so that's where the Kentucky Mesonet site is, just a little north there of Somerset. The storm in Wayne County. This may be the strongest of the bunch. Monticello 136, and maybe they're sooner than that. A little bit sooner than that. BTI up to 4.5. So again, this is worthy of attention on the storm. There's not much showing up on that. Not much showing up on that. Nothing showing up on that. So, but again, that's 9,000 feet up from the jack. So let's look at the Nashville radar. That's going to be the closest. Nashville radar is, it's 8,000. Monticello's here in kind of that radar netherworld. So again, everything we're looking at is relatively high up. This is off of Nashville. Again, not showing anything that particularly stands out, but we'll keep an eye on it. So anything, even if Jackson, if they happen to issue a warning, it's something that's elevated. Again, that's Jackson's look at it. Maybe more environmentally related. So got a little skit showing up now for the cell near Berea. You can see the BTI, that tornado index number is lower. So that's south of Duncannon, not too far from the depot going through Kingston. Waco and Bybee at 140-ish. So about 15 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, 15 minutes from now. Winston 143 as we start getting toward Estill County. So that is that cell that had been severe warned. All right.
Dropped off Russell, canceled the severe thunderstorm warning
Yep.
for Russell County.
Because the storm is now in Wayne and Pulaski. So folks around Nancy, the storm's pretty close to you at this point. There's Nancy. Oil Center. Strong north of Science Hill, between there and Etna. Emily's folks are about to get awakened by a thunderstorm. It's pretty good wind with that as it's approaching Mount Vernon. For the Madison County storm, it's heavy rain now, the length of I-75 from Clay's Ferry to Berea. So again, that's a good deluge. That warning is about to expire. Our generator just dinged. So Jackson's radar, 3,200 feet up. So that's the storm in Clark County. Just updated there. The storm near Mount Sterling. Again, you're seeing some of the times available. I think what we're going to do at this point, unless Emily wants to keep talking, we're going to keep an eye on that storm in Wayne County. Anything changes, we'll pop back up on here. For the still 1,300 people who've got nothing better to do at 1:30 in the morning, we thank you. No, and truthfully, thank you for hanging with us here as we just kind of play weather, and hopefully nothing bad has happened in your neighborhood. Excuse me. with these storms. Again, just a few severe. Tornado watch still technically in effect until 6, but the storms themselves. And again, if you were trying to ask questions, I apologize. I can't see the questions. The current setup, the way things are, I can't see them. So that's why I'm just kind of rambling through here for you. But the storms are going to be moving into eastern Kentucky over the next couple of hours. Most of this should remain elevated. So that means that the strongest of the winds likely stay off the surface, but there's still the potential that some of this can spin down. Especially, I mean, again, there's a big uptick in the lightning here in Wayne County, south of Monticello. So that is worthy of attention. So they're going to go with, it came out 12:51, so that's a half hour ago from the Weather Service office in Jackson. So they're going to warn it as severes with TOR possibles. There are circulations that show up, and they call them transient circulations. That's why we were seeing them kind of moving along the lines over the last couple of hours. And that's what's going through Wayne County right now. So again, there could be a brief spin up. There could be a brief surface basing of these storms. But for the most part, this should remain aloft or at least stay sub-severe. The storms are now passing by Monticello. Actually, they've picked up pace, so they may. We got to 145. They're not going to make Whitley County or Laurel County by 145. So those warnings will be extended. And the rest of the warnings, the heaviest has now moved out of the Madison County. That warning will expire at 1:30. So there we go. Remember the tornado watch. And the counties will just be. No, I'm not. Do this first. Do that. Now I can do that. They'll keep dropping columns of these counties out as we go through the next few hours. But for eastern, southeastern Kentucky, you guys are looking at that watch lasting in through the early morning hours. So with that, Bill's voice has had about all it can take. And be safe tonight. Be weather aware. Keep your information source handy. Know where your safe spots are. And with it, thank you for hanging with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And this is something we'll be doing a lot more of now that we got this whole systems worked out where it's really easy for us to do. So again, thanks for hanging with us on Facebook and on YouTube. So I have to pop this up so I can take it off. So again, have a good night. Bain will be here in the morning in for Tom. And I want to thank Emily McKinney for being here this evening as well. So thanks for clicking on our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live and all this social media stuff. Have a great night and a good Memorial Day. And remember the reason for the day. Barbecues and all are wonderful, and getting together with family and friends are wonderful. But remember our soldiers, our servicemen, our first responders who make the sacrifice and why we have the term Memorial Day. So again, thanks for being here with us tonight. If anything changes, we'll come back. And again, have a good night and a good morning.